Thanks,
Oh,
David.
actually, I'm going to call an audible because David is here. So we are going to go in, talk game of the week, and we're going to go in real quick and talk about the games that we saw a week ago. And you got the hat on, Anthony. I'm going to come to you first. What game most impressed you this past weekend?
Duh.
Right?
We won. I was skipping down the street. I had my shower towel on. I'm playing. I really did not do that. I live in a neighborhood where most of the folks don't look like me, and that would not be in my better interest. But wow. That game and believe
bang,
what happened.
Bang. Will is in the comments talking Kent State. Sorry.
I got some smoke for you, Mr. Hey, remind me what the score was in the Georgia-South Carolina game again. I stand corrected. Anyway, let me reel that back. I said I was gonna be nice today. I didn't want to bring out Uncle Shay Shay. I still got your L's. They in the freezer, Will. We gonna ship them to you. Put them in some dry ice.
No.
Anyway, and wait a minute. Last time I checked, Georgia still won. But coming on back, reeling this thing back. Bang, bang. I got both of them. 2 Derringers. Flop, flop. I'm Doc Holliday. I got 2 guns, one for each of you. Anyway, Atlanta, just the fact that Atlanta was able to to put the gloves on and lock down in the second half says volumes to me. Now we're talking about a Seahawks team that is trying to find its way with a new quarterback in Geno Smith. Whether or not Pete Carroll is still able to coach at that level is questionable. But still, for the Falcons, that's something, again, this goes along with their second half. Instead of shutting down in the second half against the Rams, I believe it was, instead of shutting down, knuckling down and saying, y'all ain't going to take this W easy. This is what we've been looking for in the Falcons. It's just got to get over that hump a little more often. So that was the one for me because I'm used to the Falcons. It's like, oh, y'all got the lead. Well, we just going to sit down now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, we've seen it before, but I was really impressed that you got it done. And I got to bring this up from Kyle. When are people going to start realizing that Cordero Patterson is a legit running back? 17 carries, 141 yards, and a touchdown, 8 yards a carry. I mean,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I've always loved Cordero, especially when he played for us.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm a huge fan. Anytime he's available in fantasy leagues, I pick him up. And when he's always listed on a line, which is crazy to me. And then people overlook him. And I'm like, oh, I see you're available, sir.
Right. I will definitely snag him.
So I don't get it. But yeah, I agree with you, Kyle. I think he deserves way more accolades than what he did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Delilah, what game this week for you was the game of the week for you?
I mean, there were some good ones and there were some, like, I was falling asleep games, but some games I was like, I actually liked one of my division games, Lions and Vikings. I thought that was actually a hard-fought game, which happens a lot with division games, right? I really, really was rooting for the Lions to get that one, man. I was like, come on, like, you know, it was like you could do it, and then just like they just came back in that fourth quarter, you know, just got that field goal, and so like I was just hoping that Lions could have shut them down, but they just came back and rallied, you know, with Osborne's that last minute touchdown. Like, you know, I know people don't like Pretty Boy, but you know, he got it done in that fourth quarter. Like, regardless, I'm calling him Pretty Boy because that's what Kate calls him.
Yes.
So I was like, but you know, Kirk Cousins got that touchdown to Osborne, and you know, and they made it happen. But I really was rooting for the Lions. I've been rooting for the Lions like for years because I'm just like, come on, you guys can do it. I was like, come on, you can get over that hump. And you know, and I'm sorry because I know, like, you know, I remember the clip of your video when they played the Commanders, but like,
wait, what clip are you talking about? Are you talking about this clip? Thank you for letting me relive that.
I'm sorry, but I really was hoping that the Lions could take it. But now everybody in the NFC North are 2-1. Great.
Yeah.
Fun times. For the
and so now, look, so we couldn't get the Washington game because we were in North Carolina. But one of the games we did get was the Lions game. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. Kat wants to watch this. So Kat's sitting here nervous over here. I'm like, why are you nervous? I forgot. It's her favorite team versus her favorite quarterback. So she's just like, oh, go Lions. No, wait. Go Kirk Cousins. No, wait.
That's a lot.
Just going back and forth. Yo, shout out to the Vikings. Much needed win to keep pace in that division. And hey, the Lions, they are still the truth. They've put up over 20 points in every game that they've played. Their offense is coming correct. Anthony, David asked the question real quick. Is Pitts the truth, Anthony? Is it coaching or QB play, or is he just not that good? What do you think?
My first instinct is anytime anybody brings up Kyle Pitts is to say he's a Gator and he stinks, but then I have to reel that back in and think like a reasonable person. I have to reel it back in because there have been some as much as I hate to admit it, there have been some formidable players that have come out of Florida and done very well in the league. But I think it's a combination. I mean, Atlanta's coaching has kind of been, have you ever had that one aunt that cooked and she said, this is my specialty dish. And every time you tasted it, every time she served it, it tasted different because she was just experimenting a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It was kind of like Mom on Number 5, a little bit of this and a little bit, you know what I mean? But it's the Atlanta's coaching is like that because, well, hell, because they've had a few coaches in the last few years. But the point of it is that they've had several different coaches, and Pitts has not really had anything consistent coach-wise. I mean, he's still young in the league. It's not like he's been in the league 10 years. He's still a young player in the league. What's this, his third year?
Second.
This is his second year. This is his second year in the league. I mean, the wide receiver coach, I was just looking at that. I think their wide receiver coach, TJ Yates, just got hired on this year. So he's got a new wide receivers coach. I think it's a combination of both. I mean, natural talent can only get you so far in the NFL. You might be able to get by on natural talent in college to a degree until somebody figures you out on tape. In the league, you gotta have natural talent, you gotta have a hard work ethic, and you also have to have a good coaching staff. And that last part is the piece that Atlanta is still working on. So that's my answer to that question.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting going forward.
But he still came from Florida. So yeah.
Always goes back to that. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting going forward.
Gotta get that jab in there.
Oh, obviously. It's gonna be interesting going forward. He did crack the 80-yard mark, getting 87 yards on 5 receptions this week. And I mean, averaging, over 15 yards a reception, which is always good, but he is also one of their only true threats. You also have Drake London, but you gotta guard, you're gonna double a couple of these guys. And if that happens, I don't know that Mariota is the one that's going to be able to figure it out, read the defense, and pick it apart. So, and that's the oh well, I don't play fantasy football. You should have asked that first. Yeah.
You should have said that first. If you walk in my house and ask me if I like ribs or chicken, and I go, well, I like Church's chicken, but I don't really care for KFC. But if the best place to get ribs is so and so, and you're like, nah, I was trying to figure out which one of these to avoid because I'm allergic to both of them. Well, you should have led with that. Why didn't you say that first? Got me up here talking like a long-winded college professor.
Love it. I
love you, though. I love you, bro.
Let's go. Yo. So look, we have to talk about it coming up. Oh, for me, the only game I was able to see being in North Carolina, because every other game was blacked out, was the Carolina versus Saints game. I mean, for the most part, it was a blow. It was like 22-7 for a good portion of the game, and then towards the end, the Saints tried to come back. One thing I did notice, Christian McCaffrey got over 100 yards. That is the recipe to success. Whatever quarterback you have, if McCaffrey can get over 100 yards on the ground and consistently be moving the chains, then Baker's going to look good. Baker didn't look great. He had under 150 this game. He really does not look comfortable. And I was on his side about, he wasn't the problem in Cleveland, but now maybe, I don't know, because that defense is definitely holding their own, and they definitely exposed Jameis. Boy, Jameis exposed himself. But I'm telling you, that offense is not threatening anybody. And, you know, they got 22 this week. They had 16 last week and a loss to the Giants. So until that offense can get moving, it's going to be tough sledding. But they did get a divisional win, which is huge right now. So we will see how that plays out. But looking towards next week, the game of the week for many people is a 3-0 Philadelphia Eagles with some of them Georgia boys on defense versus, on the other side of it, the 2-1 Jacksonville Jaguars. I have to say,
move on.
I have to say I am very surprised that Jacksonville is looking as good as they did. I thought they were going to do good. Oh, their only losses to who? There we go. Washington, baby. Let's get it. But they are very close to being 3-0, and I think they are one of the top-tier teams coming in. You got the Eagles on the other side with Jalen Hurts. They're leading the league in rushing. And with A.J. Brown and that defense, they're a formidable force. They were rushing Carson Wentz and getting to him with just 4 guys. Okay? They needed no blitzes. No, it was very basic, and they ran. So, you know, I'm a little nervous about this game coming up. Delilah, can we believe in Philly, and what do you think is going to happen in this game?
I think that this is where, again, like we keep thinking, I think this is a game that tells us if Jacksonville is like legit, right? Like they slaughtered the Colts, but we feel like that was a jinx, right? That was a carry-on from last year, how they kept the Colts from going to the playoffs. They just happen to have that team's number.
Yeah.
But when they actually beat the Chiefs, now, is that because they're the better team or because the Chiefs thought, oh, it's Jacksonville, right?
Right.
Which I always think is a bad mentality because you're still playing another NFL team. So I still never understand why some football teams try to do that. Like they go in and they're like, oh, it's not a great team. And then they lose. So I don't know what their mentality was.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I feel like this is more a test for Jacksonville than it is for Philly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In my opinion, because I think Philly's going to keep winning more games. Like even if something happens and they lose this one, they're going to keep winning more games. They're just showing. And I know, like, it hurts. I get it. I've been, you know, in divisions where you see people take off and you're like, oh, great, it's not my team.
Yeah.
But I just think that, you know, Philly is a bigger threat than people think in the NFC, in my opinion. They clicked finally. They did a great job during the draft. We saw them. They picked a lot of good guys. But even outside of that, they picked up veteran players. Right? We saw them making trades. We saw them kind of just actually building their team. You know, and so I feel like there's more test for Jacksonville. I think if Jacksonville wins this game, then we could take them way more serious this season, to be honest. Like if they go in there and then they beat Philly, then yeah, I do believe that Jacksonville is a legitimate team and that they finally kind of mesh, like Nick was saying. Right, took a while for them to click, right? Trevor Lawrence, like he's always had faith in Trevor Lawrence kind of making it work just because of how stud he was in college. And also, like last year, we know that they had that issue with Urban Meyer. That doesn't help when you have a coach that like talks down to you and says all these crazy things. And so like now they have new leadership. And so I really think that that's where the test is. I think this game is key to me for Jacksonville more than Philly.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And look, I know we saw what Philly did to my boys, and I'm mad about it. Okay, and are they the best? I mean, look, Denny Green, tell them how I feel.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
They are who we thought they were. They ran all over us. Right? R.I.P. Denny Green. Yo, they ran all over us. Their defense was nasty. Big baby Fletcher Cox. Them boys were the truth. They shut us down.
6'4", 260 pounds.
Look, the first highlight in North Carolina I get, or the first score update is it's 24-2. Because we get them in a safety. Like, what in the world? So the Eagles are flying high. They're the truth. And is it because, and I'm gonna make a quick little college reference for you, Anthony. Is it because there's a Georgia boy at defense and some Alabama boys on offense?
Could be. I don't know.
That
All I know is whoever wins to whatever team that wins, it will just mean more, and that's all I'm gonna have to say about that.
There we go. There we go. And look, ladies and gentlemen, those are our games of the week. Definitely check it out. But thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.